Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gaming the Max and part 5 of our Hearts of Iron 4 Old World Blues, the Enclave Redux mod. So, in the last episode, we have expanded throughout all of Nevada. We took over the Den, we took over the Antelope Reservation and Modoc. We took out the Jackals, and then we knocked out the Yakuza and made them into a stated puppet afterwards. So they're going to start doing their focus tree for they get their own enclave focus tree for their areas, and then at some point we probably will just bring them back into the fold. But I thought it would be really cool to bring these guys back out as their own little state. And then we are currently right now doing the legacy of the DIA to get an annex war goal against the 215th, since they are about to defeat the Vipers in their war. So we'll kick it on off, and then we have to wait for Vault City to beat out the Badland Buckaroos, but we are building a huge military force that should be done relatively soon, and I'm hoping at that point we will see our influx of troops to win against the Vault City. You have to have over 200% strength to Vault City, and I guess we don't. So we're going to try to get that strength up, because at that point we don't have to fight them. We can actually just take their we can take over and just annex them completely. So legacy of the DIA. Pre-war, the Defense Intelligence Agency became the premier in U.S. security operations, from predicting the moves of the Chinese to establishing safe houses for our operatives for after the war. The DIA even accurately predicted the Great War, allowing the progenitors of the Enclave to retreat to safety to continue the American dream. Now, however, its legacy is in shambles, picked apart by vultures who do not know what they're standing on. One such example is here in Nevada, and Colonel Callahan has taken his entire life to the rest. What rests underneath Red Mountain is more than worth it for the president and for America. As so long as it prevents another rig. Legacy of the DIA, which grants counterintelligence plus 0.02 and intel network strength plus 0.0. So vacuum tubes gives us radios. You all can be popped out. To pop out, we'll pop in 2 more. Not 3 more, 2 more.
Enclave here.
U16 go under her. And go up here. Still can't do bribe in the nation. Estimated army strength ratio 200% more compared to Vault City. We straight up annex them, which is better. So let's see. Let's come over here, do the United States Army. I don't know how much more I need to have to be more than 200%. Army intel. We have to be close. 23 to 37. Might be just easier to just flat out knock them out and destroy them. Just fine. I mean, we get everything from them, but we have our war goal against the 215th. So I'd say we just defeat them. Annex. Should have called my allies. I won't, because they don't have any units right now. So we'll just push forward from the north and then make them all wait right here. Vault City defeated the Badland Buckaroos. This will defend. As the U.S. government was shrunk and downsized during the Great War, so too was the military. A power struggle developed among the chief of staffs over resources, manpower, and favor of the president. While it's unknown what exactly happened, as most records went down with the rig, by our return in 2242, all that really remains was the army. The other branches exist, but were nothing more than pins or highlights on the uniform. Regardless, it was the army that led the return to the mainland. It was the army that defended Navarro, and it was remnants of the army that arrived at the Sierra Depot in 2275. As our operations expanded, the army itself will need to relearn what it lost in the Great War. how to function and maneuver as a large-scale fighting force and not a series of small-scale assault squads. Everything from mass production of weapons to the running of logistics. Of course, where to start is the question. Focus on training or focus on weapons. So let's see. We can do weapons training, or we can do the little blue book. I think you can go down both sides. So, specialist training, division org. We'll just do the weapons training. Do shock troops. We can go through Tradoc. Cavalry corps, tank equipment. Not sure which way we're wanting to go. I kind of like the Sherman. I can't stand the MacArthur one. But we get assault tank tech. Chase defense network and the nothing. We can do Arsenal of Democracy. Usually when I do Arsenal of Democracy, I do strengths of the New World. Because we get nothing, it's not much better. This is just like everything is the old world. Production costs, reliability is worse. It's literally just taking what we have. Everything is cheaper, but the reliability is a lot worse. But with these guys, it's like we're actually focused on reliability, so let's see. Where am I at? We're not there yet. Oh, we haven't accepted Ghouls yet. Has it completed the focus accept Ghouls? So we could do these. I'm good there. Let's do the military propaganda. California Republic declared war. So do Shattered State. And adds everything is on fire. Hopefully having them come back up doesn't bite us in the butt. But yeah, see they're 7 out of 7 points, so they're gaining points to becoming a federal state. Iron Alliance joined the Black Rock Federation. Alright. Assault gunnery weaponry production. Switch away from the bikes to the scrap trucks. And then Aaron Kimball elected president of the NCR. Many stood with bated breaths for the news to come out of California. When it did, it seems one's electrifying and expected. Aaron Kimball has secured his position as president of the new California Republic, confirming the trajectory of the young nation and setting in stone the ongoing sequence of conquest further eastward from the Pacific coast. Outside the Republic, watch with terrible and brooding disquiet as it's become immediately obvious the future expansion of the Republic has become non-negotiable. It is more of a matter of when rather than if, and resisting nation is trampling underfoot. The torch of liberty burns brightly, yet it now remains to be seen whether its flames will shine as an inspiration or it will burn the shaky foundation of civilization into the ash for a second time. So he won again. So could do cold feet. Can't do that one yet. Get state special forces, more that. Let's see. We'll leave that. We could start doing this, which is what we'll probably do. Integrate the scientists. Defeated the 4 ways. New Vegas' downfall. So, for the first time in living history, the casinos of New Vegas Strip failed to open for business morning, largely thanks to the annihilation and the fierce fighting against Kaiser's Legion. For days, fighting on the strip raids, the Securitrons and mobs literally great families of the casinos attempted to desperately prevent their precious city from falling to hostile powers. Ultimately, the strip was lost, but even then, the families of the strip continued to stubbornly defend their casinos, following a direct order from Kaiser. The casinos were demolished with the last robbers inside them, much to the debate of the soldiers keen on looting the riches. Securitrons, meanwhile, withdrew in the direction of the Mojave weather monitoring system, although attempts to find them have so far been unsuccessful. Vegas survived the Great War, but not Kaiser's Legion. Yep, there goes them. Do business favors. Quest more military. It's an achievable goal. 90 to hide firmly. Legion Civil War. Oh, wait, well, my game updates. The lands across the Colorado River, once an unsaleable bastion under the command of the most powerful man in the world, have fractured into open conflict. The death of Kaiser led to various potential successors rallying support and claiming lands before the rivals could, avoiding conflict for the most part. It seems that this tentative situation has finally ignited, with fighting being reported all across the Legion lands. Forces loyal to high-ranking figures among the Legion, each of whom claimed to be Kaiser's true successors, were engaging in open conflict, championing the cause of their respective leaders. The once unified and seemingly unstoppable armors of Kaiser now tear themselves apart. It is unsure which of these claimants will emerge victorious and claim the title of Kaiser, but it's certain, however, is until this conflict is resolved, the wrath and might of the Legion has been temporarily silenced. I think they have their own focus trees. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this works. So, see who wins their civil war there. We're going to knock out the 215th. And I think we will turn our attention towards Vault City next. Integrate the scientists. Integrate the politicians. Oh, look at, we got our artillery piece. I was hoping just to take over these guys, just because we'll just get more. We get all of their stockpile and everything, and that would be worthwhile. But I don't want to wait for it, so if by the time we do accept Ghouls, this doesn't pop up, then we're not going to worry about it. Payload glider. I know these are going to be really, really useful when the war comes. Alright. Let's see. Your root not resistance already. Once we get integrate, all of these integrated, I got to move down and do cold feet. Defeated 215th. Confirm and take all. Scavengers found nothing. Alright.
The fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Yeah, man, what a dirtbag. I could finish it right now, but let's just keep going down this one. Integrate officers. I'm just gonna print out a bunch of these. Yeah, I'm not gonna levy taxes. Gun runners. Buy some more. Oh, I finally at 40. Hate to buy those. They have autonomy from federal to federal state, which is good. We go to occupied territories. Oh. Alright, let's do this one first. Exploration for technology. The heads of Vancouver Maven has asked us to sponsor a scavenging party into the ruined facilities nearby. They think there's a large trove of old world equipment that would allow them to develop new processes to maintain an edge on the market. In return for sponsorship, they share the knowledge they gain with this, though there is a chance our party is deterred or worse by faculty defenses. Our current equipment should be up to the challenge. We lose 10 because we have no men to spare. Wait, they were supposed when we heard that there was forces in central Nevada where a warband of crazy tribals packing power armor were ready for a fight. We heard they were led by some psychopath that wanted to burn down the whole west coast. We were ready for war. When we arrived and saw them wearing our power armor and brandishing weapons, we were not ready for them to drop to their knees and worship us like gods. In fact, a few of our troops were a bit weirded out, but others were okay with it. It came to a head whenever their leader tried to goad them into attacking us, and one of our lieutenants ordered the tribe to kill the men, and the tribe promptly ripped them apart. We called in the followers, who set to work figuring out their customs and ways. Suffice to say, the followers were a bit perturbed to see them worshiping us in particular, and dissuaded a few of our younger soldiers from exercising that worship. From what they could gather, their leader was a man named Kega, who arrived one day after slaughtering the previous leaders and warriors to control the tribe. He then set about conquering the rest of the tribes. Amassing the large following, he kept everyone united in a cult-like worship of the Enclave as he plotted something, but since he's in about 100 different pieces, we'll never know. Regardless, the followers don't think Kaga expected us to show up. When he did, or overreacted to seeing us, and that spelled his doom, as the tribes are loyal to the cult, not him. Now we have an entire tribe of hundreds of thousands of people in central Nevada that look upon us as gods. The followers can do what they can, but we still need to figure out what to do. Well, I guess they have a place, or we can let them stay there. We get 3,000 manpower and compliance speed growth plus 50%. So we'll do that one. Where their story ends. Grayson sat across the table from the two hardened-looking raiders who he knew would string him up by his entrails had they had the chance. The contrast was quite something. Grayson is a clean gray suit, one banshee with burns across the scalp, and a stare made from years of wasteland travel, raiding drugs and whatever else the wasteland could throw at him. The other was Veronica Frost, last of the Vipers, and had been raised in a force in Nevada. Most of her raider gang were often high off snake venom. Her mind was as sharp and as cute as ever, and it was a wonder they brought her in alive. Of course, the question of the hour was why he had both of them sitting here at the same time. Mr. Banshee, Miss Faust, now I won't insult your intelligence. Our lives are very different, but we're looking at putting you away for a very long time. Do you understand? Banshee shot Grayson a stare that the lesser man would shiver from. Veronica glared at him with murderous intent. Neither spoke. Grayson, however, Red kept his resolve. I regret to inform you, well, not really regret. I'm here to inform you that where Vault 15 experiments ends. Banshee laughed. Ends? What experiment? What? You think some new Reno hotshot's gonna stop us? Grayson smirked. New Reno? Mr. Banshee, I'm not some new Reno hotshot. I'm not even from New Reno. I'm from the Enclave, the United States government. My country's been around for 500 years, give or take. Hell, we made you. The experiment of Vault 15 was set up by my predecessors. Both of you are the last of the experiment gone AWire. I applaud you for the sociological data you both provided. Veronica spat at you. F you, I'm not some experiment. When I get out of here, I got a special snake just for you. Grayson tossed a snakeskin on the table. You mean this one? Your story is over. The legacy of Vault 15 ends here. The Enclave started this, and by God Almighty, we've ended it. Ooh, Grayson got a little mad. Some suspicion will be wasted. We won't waste. We'll integrate the officers, and we'll drop down and do full integration. Might just do the caps incomes for this. Integrate officers. We'll do Americans one and all, and then allow Gouls. Reroute Crimson Caravans. Yes, please. Give us strategic reason to leave. Well, we won't do that just yet. Day of Judgment, New Canaan in flames. Following weeks of grueling maneuvers, forces loyal to the White Leg banner has reached the city of New Canaan itself. A recent Canaanite counterattack has proven futile, and the Canaanites have been forced to withdraw from the outskirts of their holy city. The White Leg's final assault is underway against the last few buildings in New Canaan that resist their grasp. The last holdout of Canaanite troops barricaded in the sheriff's building are expected to be crushed within the day. However, the New Canaan burns bright on the horizon as buildings have been put to the torch by the White Leg forces. Soon, all that remains of the Mormon holy city will be twisted metal and scorched earth. Wet Stowage. Fall of New Canaan. Legion of Haiti adds Terror of the Waste. And New Canaan, the heart of the Mormon faith, had fallen to the Legion. Legion of Hades has crucified several of their leaders in a vicious mockery of their faith, and its inhabitants now face an uncertain future under Legion of Hades. Utah now joins Arizona and New Mexico under the Red Banner. With New California in disarray after the Enclave's conquest, the New Canaan's in ashes, there is no one to stop the Legion from subduing the peaceful settlements on the fringes, unless the Republic of the Rio Grande wants to help. White Lakes completes the focused home in the ruins. Legions of Hades adds Terror of the Waste, which grants Division Attack plus 20%. Division Defense plus 20%. Narino Attack bonus against country negative 20 and negative 10. By the rivers of Babylon we wept when we remember Zion. We've got Principle, Power Armor Support, Shock and Awe. Most definitely Recon. Kaiser's Titans, and what has been described as a gift from Mars Legion, recently deployed some have described as supermoon behemoths in the show force along the Colorado. Hulk and mutated monstrosity straight out of the 2062 Nightmare. Eyewitness reports of them throwing chunks of debris, derelict cars, and even dead bodies across the river in a display of terror that has resonated up the California coast and the Sierra Nevada. Analysts have questioned where Kaiser acquire these perversions of science, with some speculating the enigmatic Aquilian Palatine has formed an alliance with a group that stake claim to the former Los Alamos Research Laboratory. Regardless, it represents a dangerous development for those who oppose the Legion. Titans? Really? Yes, really. See, the Sons of Mars are, I guess, the ones winning. Can't do that. Can't do that. Do medium attackers, though. Go to robots. No. Do simple circuitry. Upper cult's about to be defeated by the 80s. Vault City demands territory. Vault City had the audacity to demand territories. How should we proceed? Should we crush their miserable? We need to take a decision at once. Well, we might not have to worry. They might declare war on us. Sponsor another railway in TV Town. And we will do all of these. Restore Hawthorne Army Depot, restore Creech Air Force Base, McMillan Air Force Base, and Tonopah Air Force Base. We could curb Wastelander support. I'm not too worried about that right now. We can restore this Crescent Dunes project, which gives us plus 20 in Coaldale. And we can shut down Naval the Fallen broadcast. Venom gets 2 Air Force Base and Air Technology. We'll definitely do the Crescent Dunes for the power. And then return territory. No, we'll just allow them to attack us. We'll just rip right through them.
Enclave main com.
Americans want it all. And we'll accept the Gouls. And we'll actually allow them to have their own units. Citadel's disabled. Yeah, I know. Promote you. And they're disabled still, so. We got one Yakuza fighting group. So they're doing old world patriotism. Probably don't have the weapons for that. Like common basic. Say some motorcycles. Or I make cars. Well, it's alright. 80s defeated the Ripperolts. Vault City declared war on me. Wasn't the smartest thing Vault City's ever done. Start ripping right through them. Demand tribute? No. Absolutely not.
That's a no one.
Do more for you. More of you, and more of you. The fall of Unity down in Texas with Austin. Does that mean the Texas Brotherhood's at war with them? Fall of Vault City. Bitter fighting over Vault City has started to cease. New Reno is starting to clean up. But what's left of Vault City, with the residents are unsure what to expect from the new overlords as New Reno takes the treasures of Vault to New Reno. Who would have thought such a city could be taken? What? Try to be nice and not take him, and then they declared war on me, so. Permanent exit. We'll accept Ghouls. Just bypass the show of force. Do our new city for Vault City. Gain a core on Vault City.
Who the hell is this? The president?
I'm just gonna delete these for right now.
Enclave main com. The fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Alright, Ghoul marriage. Since we decided to recognize Ghouls as U.S. citizens, an odd situation has come up. A wastelander from New Reno has demanded we recognize his marriage to a Ghoul, although it don't interfere with what consenting adults do in their bedrooms, and we really don't know what these two are doing in theirs. They brought a challenge to the new Supreme Court to hear their constitutional challenge. Although one justice asked whether this was a priority in this grim post-nuclear wasteland, another member of the court has argued that civil rights are always important. The court has three options before it. The first is to say that we find Ghoul marriage gross and we can deny the rights to Americans based on our dislike, so long as we aren't imprisoning or executing people. The second is to note that the 14th Amendment guarantees all U.S. citizens the equal protection of the law and rules that banning Ghoul marriage violates the Equal Protection Clause, or we can issue a rambling decision that doesn't give anyone a clear standard to follow in future cases, but to say love is love and gets quoted at weddings. Adam and Eve, not Atom and Eve, adopt an equal protection, or let's go with the decision crafted to be used at weddings. Either one of them, we'll do an equal protection argument. If you want to marry, another Ghoul, that's all on you. There's some stability and some more support, but it's okay. Economic resurgence to Guardian City. Troll Warren looks like it's gonna cut through. Probably can destroy the 80s. Communist Ghouls. Granted, anti-communist diatribes have become a subject of discussion, and it appears that one of the pre-war Ghouls, a librarian before the world, had often to speak with Granite and explain communism to him. She asked Granite to read a book called Das Kapital. She said it was a communist work. Arrest a Ghoul for owning communist propaganda, or fine, let's read it. Gets event better read. Granite grew up on Das Kapital gave up on Das Kapital after the few 3 pages. Find it incredibly tedious and completely incomprehensible to someone raised 200 years after a nuclear war. Still, at least he decided it's simply un-American to oppose baseball, but not a sign of communist sympathies. Okay, let's call it a win. Plus 50 political power. National information infrastructure, PoseidonNet, EnclaveNet, and Roboco Mail. The hardened information networks that have survived the Great War still operates in the waste, accessed by scavengers and fools. One of our scientists has studied the network in Gecko and proposed a radical plan to link all the computers together, creating a national information infrastructure, or an NII, and we could listen to all of it with our enemies unaware. Listen to the world keeps you safe, or I guess it has scientific applications. Gain 1 research spot for negative 100 political power. Base stability, decryption. I think we're monitoring the computer networks would be a little bit better. Lewis Bradley, I presume. Get your hands off me. Get off me, shouted Lewis Bradley, former leader of the Elko posse. Once a rising warlord plotted to seize the jewel of northern Nevada Vault City, he is now in an orange jumpsuit and thrown before an older gentleman in a crisp gray suit. What the hell is this? Barked Lewis. I'm Mr. Bradley. I'm Attorney General Grayson of the Enclave. The what? The hell is an Attorney General? Chief Prosecutor of the Enclave of the United States. Now, Mr. Bradley, I'm here to inform you that you are being charged with 4 counts of conspiracy to commit acts of terror on American City, 12 counts of extortion on known caravan trade routes, 1 act of running an organized crime gang, on 1 act of running a raider gang, trespassing on federal property, public indecency, and tax evasion. While Grayson was reading off the charge, Lewis was trying to interject and interrupt, but Grayson ignored him. Grayson did wonder why tax evasion was on the charges, though. F you, a Tony boy. So that's a guilty, and he is sentenced. I think that's funny. I love those little, like, kind of blimps. I think those are really, really cool. They really add to every time you take over somewhere. Vault City University, it's 50 political power, and they give 300,000 bottle caps, but we're going to do it. It's 100 days. And we're going to come up top, and we can't do it yet. I was going to pay for the integration of the new people, but not there just yet. So we'll do our new city. The Gecko power plant. We got to do all of this and then come down to do the stuff down here. But we want to do the Secrets of Nevada. Homecoming, Vault City and its corresponding suburb of the Courtyard was once the home to many of the Enclave refugees who had survived Navarro, and it was here many made their home. The elderly settled here, and the next generation grew up in these streets, and the next generation had been friends with many of the other city children. Yet now they returned not as fellow citizens, but as conquerors, gazing over their former comrades from behind their eyes of power armor. Perhaps it was wishful thinking on Granite's part to use the former residents to assault the city. They knew it better than anyone, and it was hoped the fighting would be quick and decisive. In a moment of humanity, many from the city couldn't bring themselves to shoot who they had called friends and even family, instead routinely suggested for surrender and to avoid casualties. Much of the city's leadership refused, and it took special operations by members from New Reno to finally crack the city open. Now that it lay back in Enclave hands, many of its former residents couldn't help to assist in reconstruction from the heavy fighting between Vault City security and Enclave soldiers. Others hoped to resettle in their homes, though it would be awkward to resettle with after their disappearance, only to reappear after the Enclave return. We're in charge now, here now. Be sure to incorporate the city guard. Service will resume when orders restored. Gain more stability. Gain 50 command power, or 10% base stability. Gain plus 50 command power, 200 manpower, or command power and manpower. Security Chief Meyer becomes a unit leader, or we can use their knowledge. Load 5 units of Vault City Guard, add 150 army experience, 1,500 manpower. Chief Meyer becomes a unit leader, and Wyatt Young become a liar. So we'll just do this one and get some more city guard. Might as well take some new units.
That's a new one.
I think these are enforcers anyway, right? Yeah, it's perfect. So if we go into occupied, we switch over to rioters. This is their level of suppression. Just want to make sure I've got enough. Let's spec out equipment production. I know I'm building it. 866. If I delete them,
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
I can delete those. We'll just throw them in here for right now. Boats. Take the heart. Deep breathing. There we go. Raiders leaders sentenced in a joint trial. In a joint trial, the first of the Enclave since coming to power in Reno, the leaders of the Jackal and the Vipers have been sentenced for 3 consecutive life sentences, plus 1,347 years for their actions in being raider and gang members here in Nevada. Both were noted to be stunned silent, though there were 2 disruptions in court. The first was when Veronica Frost underwent withdrawals of the snake venom and required a stim pack to stay alive. The other was when the Jackal leader Banshee flew into a rage and nearly attacked court officials. After 2-day recess, the proceedings continued with both individuals looking as if reality had struck them like a deathclaw matriarch. Attorney General Felix Ration spoke to the reporters after the trial, saying that the long era of raiders from Vault 15 has finally come to a close after nearly 200 years, plus 2% legitimacy. So now we're getting positive legitimacy. So we got political power gain plus 8.4%, compliance growth plus 7%, and a mobilization speed of 8.4%. Very nice. Go up to a free country if we wanted to. The failed successors defeated by El Ejército Mexicano. Go to totalization. I like that one. Lewis Bradley is sentenced for the reborn legal system in America. Lewis Bradley, the former leader of the Elko Posse in northeastern Nevada, has been sentenced to 13 life sentences plus 57 years in a slam dunk trial run by Attorney General Felix Grayson. Attorney General Grayson's prosecution laid out the charges for a group of Lewis Bradley's peers, made up of Enclave service member, New Reno residents, and Vault City residents, who found Mr. Bradley guilty on all accounts. Mr. Bradley himself was reprimanded by the judge several times for his poor court conduct early in the trial. However, it was noted by the end of the trial he seemed to be in a daze if he couldn't understand what was happening to him. His defense lawyers had said that they will appeal the tax evasion conviction, though lamented that it will reduce his client's sentence to only 13 life sentences plus 56 years instead of it knocked a year off. Mr. Bradley refused comment and just stared blankly at the reporters before being hauled off to the refurbished Federal Corrections Institute Hurlong, which is being set up as a maximum security prison for gang and raider leaders. Gain 1 stability. Or legitimacy. I'm sorry, not stability. Eureka declared war on Arroyo. They have Enclave. They can get help from the Enclave. Or they used to be able to. I don't know if it's the same anymore. Let's see. The Guardians of McMillian. Located northeast of Tonopah Air Force Base, McMillian Air Force Base was one of the largest Air Force bases in the state of Nevada and home to the Air Force of the state. Under Air Combat Command and Aerospace Defense Command, the installation served the primary job of protecting and assisting the Air Force of Area 51 and the Groom Lake test site. Air Combat Command of the two was in charge of a field testing aircraft from the Groom Lake, whether it be new pieces of ordnance or technology. Given its proximity to Groom Lake, it was, of course, bombed in the advent of the Great War. In the aftermath, McMillan would come under the control of the Guardians, a group who sought to gather technology from the tribals and wastelanders of Nevada, which in turn sparked an all-out war with the Desert Rangers to the west. They used the Air Force's old A-15 Leopards to drop ordnance down on the Rangers during the conflict, using up the base meager stockpile of aircraft. With the Guardians cleared out of the installation, we have restored McMillan Air Force Base back to the active duty, allowing it once more to assist the protection of American airspace. I thought this place was named Monte Cristo. I know who told you that. Gives a boost to Ace Generation and Air Attack. Guardian Citadel changes its name to McMillan Air Force Base. Awesome. We're about done to Gecko Power Plant. Deathclaw ate some of our teams. So we've done this one. Rebuilding the power grids next. Pause. So I need a little bit more view. Build a few of those. Build some recon team kits. I've got support equipment being built, which we'll need more. I think that's good. Gouls in the Army. With the allowance of Gouls as full productive citizens of America, they have been raised a question among our military commanders for allowing them to serve in the Army. On one hand, they have hundreds of years of survival experience, and few of them are former soldiers themselves. On the other hand, there is a lingering risk of one or more of them turning into feral, and a feral Ghoul in power armor is a dangerous creature. This camp is advocating for segregated battalions of Ghoul infantry, even run by Ghoul officers. There would be more puritanical voices among us, but we did kill most of them. The debate has reached a fever pit, and the president's voice carries weight beyond measure. It worked for Truman. It'll work for me. Add Ghoul troopers, which Army experience gain plus 3%, recruitable population negative 10%, gain 10% legitimacy, which is really nice. Keep them in separate formations. No need of any of them going feral. Add technology, Ghoul civilization, and Ghoul paratroopers. We'll do that one because I like the Ghoul paratrooper idea. Sergeant Stripes at Sierra. A local Ghoul has taken over the remains of an old Dots diner in Hairlong and restored it to full working order, along with working out a deal with a local caravan company to supply food. The Stars and Stripes at Sierra Diner and Trade Post has since become a massive hit with the military members of the nearby base and their family, and has brought life back to the area. Along with the food served, the area around has become something of an open marketplace for travelers wishing to trade their goods with the residents of Herlong. The only establishment last why they chose here of all places, and was quoted as saying they were inspired by the Pioneer Saloon on the Mojave and wanted their own little place to call their own. I'll make a note to eat there. So the Gecko power plant is done. We're going to do the power grid and then home in Nevada. And then we're going to do super mutants, non-human rights, the Far Sun, and United We Stand. So it's going to kill my legitimacy. Not legitimacy. Yeah, legitimacy. Crap mower, anti-air. We'll need those. Hawthorne Army Depot. Pre-war Hawthorne Army Depot prided itself as the largest depot in the world. Twice the size of the Sierra Army Depot, Hawthorne held everything from weapons, ammos, trucks, and everything in between. Sadly, operations in Alaska and China drained many of its stocks, and the passage of time hasn't helped. While getting the base up and running, we managed to find a few old stocks of rifles and machine guns. One of our techs discovered something even better: schematics for 105mm artillery pieces, along with training manuals and range tables. While previously our highly mobile Verta assault teams had no need for artillery, if we're going to take back America the hard way, we're going to need artillery support. Sadly, it appears what few guns were here were stolen. The tracks leading off somewhere southeast towards Vegas. Adds artillery support battery. Image credit to Fallout Nevada, who took the guns. Reduces supply consumption. We get 800 units of American common weaponry and 400 units of American light machine guns. Artillery support battery, defending America's most secret base, a pre-war Air Force base that serves the Greater Nevada test site, the fighter counterpart to Nellis Air Force Base's bombs. Creech served as a little-known younger sister to the more famous base that was just as important. Given the obscurity of the base and the focus of Area 51, the base was left unscathed as far as Great War damage. The intervening 200 years, however, did little to stop its decay to the elements. From the occasional NCR expedition to roving bands of raiders to the Great Mojave War, back in our hands, the base is shaped up to be crucial in both our push into Utah as well as stop whatever the heck Caesar can throw at us when our armies meets. Lita Town is renamed Creech's Air Force Base, improved air mission efficiency, and ace generation. Expanded at Tonopah, the pre-war Tonopah was part of the larger Nevada test site and has been largely dormant save for the Guardians, who ransacked the base for anything they could find. Thankfully, the automated defenses held out, and much of the base remains intact, allowing the Air Force to quickly restore it to working order. With its airfield operational once more, already operations towards Area 51 and over California are being planned. With the NCR Air Force growing in strength, we will need Tonopah Air Force Base now more than ever. Improved air attack and ace generation. We can hide. It's just going to keep getting more expensive. So 205 for 136 days. But that lets us get some of this stuff up and running. I hate to fight the slanters. Do I need... Let me look here. Oh, they don't need to be kept. Like, I don't have to have their... Okay. Diplomatic incident with the sea. Once these are all done, we got to let them go all the way, and then we can do this one. Nuka-Cola. Supreme Court Justice President Grant, astounding and interesting news. A Ghoul has appeared in New Reno who claims to be a surviving member of the Supreme Court. He says he was on a ski trip in Colorado when the Great War broke out and spent the last 200 years traveling the waste and administering justice. We were skeptical, especially when we asked for his name, which is Paul Goodman. We doubt anyone was named that pre-war, but he claims it's a post-war name and that his real name is Robert McGill. When we look through our records we have, but the counter checks out, and restoring him to the Supreme Court would be a big step towards reviving America's legal system. I hope he hires good law clerks, plus 5% stability and 50 political power, or just lose 5% stability. We'll just take him in. Security Chief Meyer speaks out. Chief Meyer has spoken out against integrating Gouls into the American society, using a position as Security Chief of Vault City to gather an audience. We can't trust him, not now, not ever. Ghouls have been tolerated for too long, and now this so-called president is codified, treating these cannibalistic monsters as fellow citizens into law. The Enclave seems to build a nation free of threats, monsters, and dangers. How can we sleep at night knowing that any of them can go feral at any moment. They're dangerous animals, plain and simple. If the citizen elite had any strength or actually care for the people, they'd take it right up to Granite directly. Unfortunately, we can't just kill them. Though Callahan says otherwise, Meyer is seen as protector of Vault City and a hero to many in the courtyard, and even the military for his stance on Vault City's lethargic bureaucracy. He has since resigned his commission in the army, refusing to be a member of an organization that stands by while ticking time bombs walk the streets. He retires, and we lose 10% stability. Enclave Vault Research Control. Several technicians working in the Gecko nuclear power plant have been tinkering around in the plant's mainframe via some of the terminals, and it appears they found an emergency data dump from Control Station Enclave, the rig. It turns out the plant was hooked up to the old Poseidon net, and just before the rig blew up, the automated emergency system sent a data transfer to any and all sites with large enough storage to contain the history of the Enclave. While this normally would be seen as great news, it seems the proximity to the damaged reactor had corrupted the data sent. We've got a history lesson, a few banners, and how to correctly display the American flag, ranks, but things like scientific data and other more vital pieces of information have all been corrupted. One, however, has not. The data from the Enclave Vault Research Control, our monitoring of every vault across the country, as well as the secure signals our monitoring equipment has been sending out all these years. There were always rumors among the old timers about the vaults that why so many fell was because of the sociological data we gathered from them. However, there was always concealed by the highest authorities, so the rumors go. Could there be more to this than us lower rank and file or even let on? They're just rumors, right? Gets event Project Safe House. Project Safe House. Callahan ended his brief on the vaults and everything contained from the data collected from the Vault Research Control. Every rumor was stunned silent, not wanting to believe what was before them. I've gone over every file. I've read some heinous shit from these vaults. I was Enclave Intelligence in Chicago, and none of that prepared me for what I read. If you have questions, I might be able to answer them, spoke Callahan. Score 1 for Enclave Intelligence. How did you not know? Asked Kesselhut. Callahan smiled. We monitored out, not in. Yet the rig still blew up, snarked Kesselhut. Enough, barked Granite. Does anyone else know about this? I've debriefed the technicians. They're sworn not to say a word, replied Stevenson. As of now, this is the only group that knows. It needs to stay that way. If word ever got out, argued Kesselhut. Granite sat at his desk, messaging his temples. The stories he grew up on running through his mind, how the United States was so great, how everything was amazing. All his life he saw the signs, but he denied them, ignored them. But after his conflict with Anderson and the purist, now this, his image of the house upon a hill was, if not shattered, a little broken. Thomas was correct. If word of this got out, then what? However, there was still the matter of the vaults, and even he knew people would start asking questions. Looking to this slideshow Callahan made, the logo of the corporation that made the vaults emblazoned proudly, he had his answer. We blame Vault-Tec. It's called a rug. It's called a rug, sir. I don't care. Download all those files, lock them in some very hard master lock safe, and we never speak about this. I don't beat that blowhard Anderson just to have everyone riot and shed tears over this fact. For this time, we stand a chance at achieving the Enclave dream. No, not that one where we wipe everyone out. The one where we bring America back. Everyone knows about the vaults, all the horror stories that come from the scavengers. As far as the wasteland's concerned, it was all Vault-Tec. Vault-Tec for profits and to rebuild the wasteland. Why change 200 years of common knowledge because we found a file? Our silence of the group as we mulled over the plan. Granite took advantage of this. It's been 200 years. Those who made up the plan are dead, and those who suffered from it died not long after. I've seen some failed vaults myself. Very few made it past 2200. We pinned it on pre-war Vault-Tec executives, and we call it a day. If anyone has objections, I keep my pistol loaded. Now, Callahan, those holotapes. Bury it with prejudice. New word I learned, finally got to use it. Score. Rebuilding the power grid, and then we'll do home is Nevada. Start. Let's see, construct power grids. Install police forces. All the power grids should be on there. Buried with prejudice. An unassuming safe at the bottom of the Sierra Army Depot, tucked away in a storage room filled with cleaning supplies. It was supposed to be used for more industrial level cleaning products that pre-war could be used to create some powerful chems. This is the excuse for the master lock in the safe itself. It had defaults back. That was the security measure Callahan added, and you couldn't tell unless you were intimate with the dimensions of a secure guard series safe. Behind it was a set of 4 holotapes that contained the recorded data of Project Safe House, locked away where no one was ever going to find out about it. Callahan closed the safe and remembered back to when the rig went up, how his mentor and former Commander Offerson had to explain how no one could predict a tribal gaining access to the most secure location on the planet. The answer? The president classified the fact that there was a ship capable of transport towards the rig and could get past the defenses. The president classified the fact that any and all naval assets had been sunk or been sent elsewhere, leaving the rig vulnerable. The president classified the fact that dozens from the mainland were brought aboard for experiments and that someone may come looking for them. Any concerns were silenced, and those who refused were exiled, executed, or erased. In the wasteland where anything that can happen, a tribal got aboard the rig and blew it up, all because the president classified something to save face. Now here Callahan was doing the exact same thing that got the rig destroyed, bearing evidence to save face and protect the honor of the Enclave. Next time, he thought, he might not go along with it. If you lose honor by admitting fault, you have no honor in the first place. Admiral Ishio Fioritora. The data on Project Safe House will be kept for use at a later date. I know you guys have said you wanted me to release it, and I will do so when it gives me the opportunity. So, can do a production boost on the gun runners. Probably should move against the 80s and the white legs. The troll warren most definitely needs to probably be defeated as well. Protection security. I don't think you get anything for them. Let me look real quick. Protect. Tron. Protect. Tron. Nope, it's from the EPA. That's not it. Alright. Yakuza. You can send them. What's your infantry look like? Fire teams, demolition, anti-tank. Oh, okay. Do monolithic planes. Oh yeah, let's switch over from the barrage balloons. Or no, from the payload gliders to the attack plane. Come over here and we'll delete the missile battery. Start Lend-Lease. So get everything I got. Yeah. 40 convoys. Once. League of Citizens. Lynette gave the speech to the audience of hardline segregationists as if on autopilot, going on and on about the importance of segregating the radiation damage from the pure humans. She believed none of it, but she had little choice to comply. The traditionalists in Vault City always longed for a return to the days of Lynette Mother, where the superior breed of humanity ruled over their lessers. However, their influence had greatly diminished in recent history thanks to the NCR's influence, but with the fall of Vault City, the NCR garrison was destroyed, and the few survivors ended up in Golgotha to prevent spreading news of the Enclave's return. Now free from the NCR's gaze and their ranks bolstered by more genetically aware reformers, the traditionalists have reasserted themselves in Vault City politics. They have formed a new political party, the League of Citizens, which is quickly becoming the dominant political force in Vault City. The League aims to restore Vault City back to her glory days before the NCR's degenerate democracy infected the city, before those dang followers of anarchists spread their foolish notion of equality, back when everybody knew their place, when only the best specimens of humanity could lead. Some of the more radical League members believe that Vault City models should be spread all across America. After all, didn't Vault City model lead to the most advanced city in the wasteland? Lynette wrapped up her speech, and the audience gave an applause. Now a powerless figurehead of the hardline segregationist movement, she no longer had a choice but to follow the party line, and she left the stage. She made a silent apology to the humans, ghouls, and mutants she had betrayed. Meanwhile, in New Reno, Granite listened to the recording. Never did it occur to him that Wastelanders outside the Enclave would have their own hardline views of humans, Wastelanders, ghouls, and mutants. He had to choose his option wisely. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The elites party is now called the League of Citizens. First citizen Lynette becomes leaders of the elites. Gain 5% legitimacy. Gain base stability negative 7%. 7% and change of popularity to the elites plus 10%. Unlocks her as a political advisor. League gets something of a point. Lose 5% legitimacy, 100% political power, or 100 political power. Gain an elites 15%. Or since he is charismatic, we gain 7% legitimacy and change the popularity of elites plus 5%. So it goes up to 8. Yeah, we'll do this one. Gain the more legitimacy. The Academy never prepared him for this. Since incorporating the Vault City Guard into our forces, one particular guard stood out above the rest. Formerly a middle-level guard, he's been standing out in our patrols to combat raiders and threats in the region, being a veritable one-man army and leading others into battle and bringing them out alive. Several officers and his commander are recommending his promotion based on his combat leadership skills. However, he was born in the courtyard and not of Vault City genetic stock, meaning he will be a true-born wastelander in our office ranks. We can, of course, give him shuffle him around in loose paperwork. Of course, we'll have him. Yeah, there's no reason not to take him. Oh, he's not pure-blooded. So we're done up here. We finished this one. This is finished. That's finished. The mutant question. We can accept the super mutants. We need to finish out Sierra Army. I need to do Cold Feet. Can't do that yet. Arsenal Democracy we need to do. Alright, so I'm going to do super mutants and non-human rights. Can't do that one, but we could maybe get that one done. So let's do super mutants. Do need to look. Let's see, your stability's trash. Let's go to back to New Reno. Manage subjects. So you're free. Just need to demote them at some point. High resistance. Yeah, there's going to be high resistance everywhere. Start knocking out resistance. Radio research, perfect. Tax breaks for factories, get better buildings. Economic resurgence, perfect. Construction power grids. Except super mutants, men and mutants. Even among the most ardent of reformers, integration with super mutants was off the table. Nothing more than the hulking beast stories from Oregon told of brutish monsters that ate children, and the fear of the masters still scarred the land. Of course, there were the occasional smart one, but they were far and few between, and among them, even fewer wanted to live peacefully, and even at the best of times were violent brutes. Granite Company itself had done battle with super mutant bands from Oregon, and among Granite himself there was no love for the beast. What there was, however, pragmatism, risk versus reward. Every now and then, Granite had bright ideas, and this was one of them. A single super mutant was worth 5 wastelanders. But in a fight, moving stuff, or their mere presence, no one was going to argue that the 7-foot-tall angry wall of muscle. That meant for every super mutant that was in society, there were 5 wastelanders freed up for something else, like service in the army. Sure, there would be the violent ones, but humans were just as violent. Further, if it failed, well, he can stand out and make a show about it to the people about how they tried, and the super mutants have shown they were better to be eradicated. Simple and effective. Perhaps it will work. Now, since we've done everything we've conquered most of modern day Nevada, we get these different things to do. So what lies above and beyond, and more importantly, below here in Nevada. So we can do like the Elk Posse problem, Buckaroo buyout, which we already own it, so I don't know why. Legends of the Sierra Madre, if we got Route 95, which is down here. Who's winning? Sons of Mars, Legions of Hades looks like it's going to pull out the wind. Silver State, send a courier to the Protecton hub. We'll do that. These all cost some political power. So Rebirth of Carson City we'll do. U.S. Ordnance. That's 100 at Steed Air Force Base. We'll do that. I don't think we Area 51. It's down here. So we'll just do those for right now because I don't want to lose too much political power because we're going to need it. And then the elites faction. It's at 14%. And I don't think I can get rid of them any more than I already have. So we're just probably going to have to bite the bullet on losing that much stability, which isn't great. There's always more stability to be had. Here's some stability. And since Farsun is no longer anything, I don't think we can do it. For purest free land. Let's see. Sierra Labs, boosting power armor. Let's do Arsenal of Democracy for right now. But with the conquering of the rest of Nevada, doing these the next 7 days, we'll see about getting our production up for the Arsenal of Democracy. And I'd say not in the next episode, but maybe the episode after that, we will see probably conflict over here and then back over here. I gotta remember where Farsons is. I think it's Highlands Watch that's for the Farsons. Yeah, so maybe we can look at coming over here, but I doubt it. The Glow Bugs and the Iron Alliance. They're all rulers except for you. UG Crisis from the east. Learning Chinese. I don't know, interesting. A lot of interesting factions that these have most definitely, yeah, gotten a huge revamp. There's the Realm of Diana. Upholding our ideals. I think she can join us. Can't remember. I think she does, though. We can defeat the White Legs and maybe bring back New Canaan. Oh, there's Canaan in exile. So, who knows? Who knows what we're going to do. But I hope you guys have enjoyed episode 5. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.